Live here. Okay. Hopefully this stream is coming up. What's up, guys? It's Sunny from szg.sports, and here is...
I am Joe Nuba. What's up, fellas? Pleasure to be here. And I'm just checking if the stream is up, and it is. So what's up, fellas?
Awesome, guys. Let me silence my cell phone. So my guy Kirk, he is supposed to be here any minute, but I hate to be late, so I decided to start the stream at 7:30 because this is gonna be an hour stream because everybody wants to see that big game. Squealers, I was gonna say Texans and
Clownies.
Yeah. So Javon B says, just realized Texans fans are super cocky.
Ooh.
We'll see, man. We'll see. What up? You see this? What's up, brother? What's up, Under Pressure Production? What's up, Jose Garcia? Let's get it. Thank you for joining me. So, me and Nuba are gonna talk here for a little bit. Like he said that he's like 5 minutes away, and we're gonna do behind enemy lines. Nuba knows I was literally on the phone with him. So as soon as he comes up, we will start this thing. In the meantime, let's talk about. Do you want to talk a little bit? I know we talked yesterday about tonight's game. What are we expecting and all that?
Well, so what I'm curious to hear from this Texans fan, because I was actually diving a little bit deeper into this Texans team. I actually wanted to watch some film breakdowns, and there wasn't many because I guess, Texans, I don't know, I guess there's just not that big of a team on YouTube. I don't know. There's just not really represented that much. I did find a film breakdown, though. I was watching the defense. I was watching, just as much video as I could find of this Texans team. And what I'm curious about, what the Texans fan, what I want him to tell me, what answer do they have for Lamar Jackson? Because as I was watching that, I don't think they have one. I don't think they do. I actually thought their defense, it's pretty good. I'm not going to lie to you. The defense is pretty good, but it's like it would be good if it's going against a regular offense, which we're not, so
yeah.
I want to see what they have to say because they do have good linebackers, but you know who else has good linebackers? The Seahawks. You know who else has good linebackers? The Patriots. And they couldn't stop it. So I'm curious to see what they have to say about that.
And as I see, obviously, this is my video that I usually do pre-recorded. Obviously, today's a live stream. But usually, what I've seen from this from the Texans, their secondary is kind of soft.
Yep.
So the secondary is soft. They're good against the run, so they make you one-dimensional. So
they're kind of similar to us.
The
way we play. Yeah.
So the question is, currently, if they're gonna try to stop the run, if they're gonna overcommit to the run, that's gonna expose the secondary big time. So what are they gonna do with Lamar when he starts throwing? What are they gonna do with Hollywood or the tight ends? There's mismatches in the secondary, right? So, and the other thing is, if they're gonna over pursue the run, we already know that doesn't work with Lamar. You try, he slips through the cracks, he's gone.
Yep. There was many times that I saw that Gardner Minshew, he had the pocket breaking down around him, and I'm like, if that's Lamar, he can just swing out to the right, boom, he's gone.
And no JJ.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
But JJ Watt, didn't he get injured just before the bye, right?
I think so. I think actually before the Jags game, if I'm not mistaken. So, okay, but yeah, so this defense, the Texans defense, they play a lot of man. That's what I was seeing, especially, well, that's at least what they did against the Jags. Maybe they switch it up depending on the opponent, but they were playing a lot of man. And it was successful against the Jags because, the Jags, they have some decent receivers, but not anybody that you're like, oh my God, aside from like Baby Shark, DJ Chark. They play a lot of man. And if you play man against Lamar Jackson, that's a recipe for failure. We've seen it, man. We saw the Patriots. They tried to send that cover 0 against us. Didn't work. We have man beaters. We have Mark Andrews. We have our tight ends. Plus, another wrinkle that we added just last week against the Bengals, which I don't expect us to use too much, but the Heisman package is going to be a problem. If we do use it a lot more, man, it's adding another wrinkle to this offense. And I do believe we do have more up our sleeve. So I'm very curious to see what he thinks, how they're going to stop this offense.
For sure. So, guys, again, we're waiting for him. He should be here any minute. But one of the things that I want to say is if you guys have specific questions for him, put it out. If you see a question that is good for him, let me know. We'll highlight it. Second, please hit the like button, as Don Demel is saying. Second, if what was it? Oh no, second is, remember, Sunday I'm gonna be at Baltimore. Come swing by Bluegrass. I'm gonna be there from 10:30 to 12, so you can hit there and then you can go to the game. Come join me if you wanna. Like I said, I'm gonna be live streaming, so if you wanna bring your 2 cents, you can join the live stream. You can sit down there, you can spill your 2 cents, and then enjoy the bar. Bar's pretty good. So come swing by. It's gonna be a good time.
There you go, man. So
One of the things how I thought about doing this, Noobs. I don't know if you like this format. Is we're gonna say our offense against their defense first, and then we're gonna flip, and then his defense against our offense, and we're gonna see what that way we can segregate a little bit.
Sure.
Topics, and then at the end I want a score prediction.
Sure, sounds good to me, man. So, we talked about how Lamar Jackson versus their defense. I don't know if you want to talk about the other side, Deshaun Watson versus our defense.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically opposite team. And let me say something. I love Watson.
Yep.
I think he's spectacular. He's awesome. He is MVP candidate for sure. But MVP candidate I think is a little bit stretch. Anyway, but he's definitely top tier quarterback in the league. My worry right now with our defense is if we don't hold containment, can he burn us? And second is, are we gonna let High run all over the place? And third, Duke Johnson out of the backfield. I don't know about you. I'm always scared to death about running backs coming out of the backfield. I feel like we fail with those so much. So I'm looking forward to Peanut because he's our faster, most explosive middle linebacker. I feel like he should be on the running back.
I agree, but Peanut, he did kind of have some struggles against Mixon last week. If you remember, when Mixon got the ball, he kind of, he hit a move on Peanut and he was able to get around him. So Duke Johnson, we know him very well from his time with the Browns. We know that he's not only a very good runner, but he can also double as a receiver. Like, he has the capability, like, he has good hands as a receiver. He runs good routes as a receiver. Duke Johnson might as well be considered, another receiver. So he's could definitely be a problem. Something I'm worried about for sure. No doubt.
What do you think about that comment?
Okay, let's see. My boy Eclectic Tyrone, always with the interesting comments. I see you, my boy. He says, Texans beat the Chiefs. Chiefs beat the Ravens easily. Texans win. Sad to say. I don't know. I never know if I should take this guy seriously, to be honest. Because he's always had some interesting comments. So I don't know, man. Shout out to you, Tyrone. I don't know.
So look at this. I agree with this.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, guys. So let me say our guy is here. So he's from Lockdown Texans. Lockdown is a big podcast network they have for all teams. And I'm happy for him to join us. It's going to be a good discussion. I'll let him introduce all his stuff. So without further ado, here he is. What up, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can see you. Guys, the chat, can you hear? Are we good? Thumbs up if you can hear him. In the meantime, where can they find you, man? Introduce yourself.
Well, okay, I am John, Some Sports Guy Hickman. You can find me on Twitter at Some Sports Guy with 2 Y's at the end. Also, follow me. Follow the Locked On Texans Twitter page. Also, check out youcanarguethatsports.com, an independent sports publication created and based out of the city of Houston. We cover sports from everywhere. So we're just based out of Houston. And listen, man, let's not be nice with one another. Our teams are playing one another.
Hey,
Sunday, noon game, and I really wish it was more so of a flex game, prime time. I believe Action Jackson versus what I've been calling him as of late, Deshaun Jumpman Watson, because of the comparisons that if you pass up on him, you pass up on Michael Jordan. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So The only thing is we try not to cuss. That's the only thing me and Nubo do. But other than that, no, I agree. So this is gonna be a debate. It's gonna be a debate, and how we're gonna format this is we're gonna start, and obviously we're gonna see any questions. If this, I'm sure you can see the questions there that the guys are posting. I don't know if you can see them. If you hit, it should be there in the comments. It should be coming into StreamYard. But main thing is, if we see any comments that they want, have any questions for you, I'm gonna highlight it like this, so you're gonna see it there. Okay. And second, we're gonna break it down. So where I want to get started is your defense against our offense. What do you think is the answer of the Texans defense? What do you think they're gonna play? How they're gonna play Lamar in this Ravens offense? And do you think they're gonna succeed? And so on.
So I think the main key for the Texans defense heading into this game is discipline. Right? We've seen guys overplay, over pursued, try to guess he's going to be to this spot before, so I'm going to beat him there. And let's be honest, a guy like Lamar Jackson, a talent like Jackson, it's the talent like Vic and so many other, quarterbacks that maybe have not gotten a chance like Jackson and Vic and, Deshaun. They can beat you to any spot they want to on the field. And so no matter how much you think you're preparing because of film, they know where they're going before you do. So the main thing to do is basically be disciplined. Get to your spots, stay there. Do not fall for any trick plays. And above all, the Ravens have a really good offensive line. You have Ronnie Stanley, who hasn't given up a sack this year. He's one of the best left tackles in the league. Mm-hmm. Well, in order to beat this team, you got to beat them off the line of scrimmage. Push them in the backfield, make things more difficult for that run game. I think that's the biggest thing for the Texans right now. And then, of course, getting everybody back healthy. We got guys back in practice after missing a couple games due to injuries. That's going to help us out.
So one of the things that I saw was you guys are really good against the run. Your middle linebackers are playing good. D-line is good. Obviously, you lost J.J. Watt, which a player that I love, but he's out for the year. So I think, I have been trying. So I've been watching film from the Texans, coaches tape and all that. And I've been trying to dissect because obviously this running game is not like a normal running game, right? And I'm wondering if you think, this is more of a question for you, if you think that the Texans are going to try to over pursue, meaning are they going to stack the box and let Lamar beat them with the arm, or are they just going to play their normal packages?
I think going into this game, they're going to continue to do what they've been doing.
Okay.
And let's look at how hot the Jacksonville Jaguars were coming into the game we played against them in London. They were one of the best rushing teams right along with the Baltimore Ravens in the league. Well, when we got to them, we held their star running back to under 50 yards. As a total, they did not run the ball well. They didn't even reach 70 yards total, I don't believe. It may be less than that. So if I'm the Texans, if I'm Cornell, if I'm Bill O'Brien, getting my guys prepared, we're going to do what we're going to do, because you can't go and face an opponent and try to conform to their game plan when your game plan has been working. Your formula has been working. So I wouldn't change anything. Now, of course, throughout the game, if there are adjustments that need to be made, I'm sure Cornell, who's been one of the best defensive coordinators this league has ever seen over 30-plus years in the game, he's going to make those adjustments. But to kick off the game, I'm not changing anything.
So you think they're going to play the same type of defense? You think they're going to just work with what they have and see how they are reacting to Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
Okay.
So, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
So my main thing I'm curious about is, because obviously we know the linebackers for the Texans are pretty good. They're actually probably one of the best linebacking cores in the AFC, if not the best. But the question is, do you think they have, I don't know, I don't want to say the speed, because obviously nobody has the speed to catch up to Lamar. It's obvious, but because there were some times that I saw against Gardner Minshew, the pocket was breaking down, and I'm like, if that was Lamar, he can just run out to the edge and he's gone. big game, you know? So how do you think that they're going to stop that?
Again, just get into spots. There's certain guys that you're not going to be able to just stop. So you have to do the best you can to contain them. You mentioned J.J. Watt. He's going to be out. So we're going to look towards guys like Merciless, who has, he's kind of fell off. You guys remember how hot he started the season?
Mm-hmm.
The last few weeks or so, he's fell off. We need for him to come right back and play phenomenal. And I believe we'll keep a spy on him at some point to minimize some of those running lanes or running opportunities Lamar Jackson can come up with. But make him beat you. He's going to get what he's going to get. We know that. There's nobody in this league better than him getting to his spots, running that football. I mean, he's on pace to rush for 1,200 yards as a quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's going to come as long as the big plays don't happen. Cunningham has to play phenomenal. He has to play lights out. McKinney has to play lights out. Merciless has to come along with it. Players like Scarlett, he has to come through. But I'm going to tell you a guy who's going to be critical. DJ Reader up front in that middle, he is going to be critical in the success of this defense. It's all going to start with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DJ Reader is definitely a beast. And that's, I would say, the interior of our offensive line is a little bit where we're a little bit weak. Definitely that left guard spot. So that's definitely something to look out for sure. But Sonny.
So another thing. So what I'm hearing here is, I think this is something that, the Patriots try, and the Patriots we know is one of the best defense in the league. They basically try to not stack the box, but almost play man on the edges, on the outside, and then have that middle of the field, like zone. Those linebackers are playing like between 5 to 7 yards drop, so they can try to react quick to Lamar. And, Lamar still got his, but I think the Patriots tried to push us to beat them with the arm. So I think, this is my opinion, I think that's what the Texans are going to do. They're going to, because watching that film, I saw the Patriots were in good positions. It wasn't like the Patriots were not in position to make the plays. It's just Lamar makes people look silly. So that's what I'm thinking the Texans will do. Now, going back to the secondary, do you think you have any corner that can go step by step with Hollywood Brown?
Absolutely not. I don't think there's many corners in the league that can actually go step for step. Not because they're not fast enough, but just technique and actually, stand where they're supposed to be. I don't think there's many corners in the league. I do think that going into this game, just like many games for the Ravens, Hollywood Brown is a guy that, of course, you circle, but he's not your biggest concern when you look at the receiving threat. Hurst, Boyle, and Andrews are the threats that you really have to worry about. And Harbaugh has done an amazing job with lining them up. Their plays were all three on the field at the same time. And that's what that does is, they're going to really run the ball. They're going to continue to run it. They're running. Oh, my gosh. One has gotten loose. Hurst gets loose. Andrews, who's been one of the best tight ends of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Boyle, every now and then, Boyle gets in the mix. That's why they're so good in the red zone. The receiving core for this Baltimore Ravens team is what really scares me. Now, thankfully, we had a bye week. We had some time to get guys rest. We're going to get Gibson back. Roby's coming back. Excuse me. We also just made the trade for VH3. We picked him up after he was released in Tampa. VH3, Vernon Hargraves.
Right.
So I'm not sure how much time he will play. But Justin Reed, who was an All-Pro last year, these guys are going to be called upon because not only are we wanting for you to be smart, but your athleticism in this game has to show. Lamar Jackson can get to wherever he wants to on the field. The way they scheme this offense at times, they put it so much around him that other guys that maybe in another system or team, maybe they wouldn't thrive, but the tight end core, those guys are thriving because how the offense is set up.
Yeah, so this is I guess what I'm saying. what do you pick with the Ravens, right? Do you overcommit to the run? If not, I mean, we are rushing currently 197 yards per game.
Yes.
And the reason is because our running attack is not a conventional running attack. We do the read option, and sometimes it's a triple option. We can run right, we can run left. We have guys basically crossing the lines, actually pulling everywhere. And if the middle gets open, Lamar can run, but we have seen him pulling it and throwing it to a guy like Hollywood that is very fast, or to one of the tight ends. Just the zone gets soft because now you're seeing your line going this way. So you're going to have linebackers react that way. And then you see the line shifting to the other side. You're going to have another group reacting to that. So the Ravens create all this misdirection, all this mismatches. And the tight end core, obviously, we love our tight end core, and we know create problems. But we also had Hollywood for those deep throws. Last week, that was the first throw out of the gate. Boom, a bomb. And the reality was, if Hollywood trip itself, if Hollywood doesn't trip itself, that goes to the house. Right. So I think you guys have a good core. I think this is a game that, how I see the Ravens acting this game, is pushing the run early, trying for you guys to overcommit against a secondary that is not your strongest suit on the defense, and then start attacking on the passing attack. That's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. Plus, it's a road game for you guys, right? So that obviously that energy for the team. Now, one thing that I always be careful. Not only the Texans are a good team, is coming out of a bye, like you said, coming out of a bye. Not only you guys are rested, also you guys have more time to prepare.
And Bill O'Brien is 4-1, right? Off a bye, I believe.
Yeah, phenomenal bye record.
Yep.
And I will say this before we just move along. The Ravens have ran the ball 53% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
The last 3 games, almost 60%.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of times you look at football and you may not want to get caught up in numbers, and sometimes you do, but a team shows you who they are. This team is going to run the ball. What that tells me is they're more confident in getting wins by putting the ball on the ground. Cool. That's what you're going to do. Our secondary, they're going to hold their own against Baltimore's receiving core. So the focus has to be stopping the run. Lamar's going to get his. But we can't allow Ingram to have a hot game, because when Ingram gets hot, they're unbeatable.
It's over.
Yeah.
Right?
And I don't expect Ingram to have that big of a game this game because of your D-line and because of your linebackers. You guys know how to stop the run. You did it against Fournette. So I do expect you guys to stymie Ingram just enough. But Lamar is really the big X factor there for sure. But we already talked enough about that.
I don't even know if that's true, because the problem is how Ingram gets loose. This is what happens. Lamar's there and the read option, and he takes. They're both having the ball. He takes a step right and sees that edge containing open up a little bit, and he lets the ball go. And now Ingram has a path. It wasn't because he did anything special. It was because Lamar did the right read. Mm-hmm. Then you see that the end crashing in, and Lamar just pulls him and goes to the edge. And that's how Ingram gets big games. It's not like Ingram is making people miss. I mean, Ingram's a phenomenal running back. He's a bruiser. But it's not like he's being like Lamar or Zeke, just making a cut here and there to make people miss. A lot of Ingram's run is the hole open, and he's gone. And that hole open, yes, the O-line is doing a good job, but it's also because Lamar read when he was going to give it to him or pulling it.
Yeah. See, but the thing is that we've gone against these subpar defensive lines, and the Texans is different, man. So that's why I think they should have more success stopping us. I mean, look, Ingram didn't have a huge game last week. I mean, he didn't necessarily have to, because Lamar just went off.
He ran 9 times.
So, but I do think that they should be able to find a way to stop just our regular, even Gus. If we put Gus in there, they shouldn't have any problem stopping them, I don't think. But again, the Lamar factor is what is really going to change the running game for sure. But this Texans secondary, they did trade for Garyon Conley, if I'm not mistaken, or picked him up.
We traded for Garyon Conley, and listen, this was a guy that was getting mixed reviews, but let's be honest. In his 2 games here in Houston, he's balled out.
Yeah,
he's balled out. It hasn't even been a question that so far the 3rd-round pick we gave up, it's working out.
Mm.
And that was the area of the team where we failed. I will tell you this: a guy that I like a lot right now for the for the Ravens, he does a little bit of everything. Patrick Richards.
Oh yeah, Ricard. Yeah,
Fullback, defensive lineman.
Mhm.
He does this, he does that, he does whatever you need. But he's worked out for the Ravens, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he blocking, he's excellent, and then he sometimes gets out of the flat and makes a couple of catches. Dude, I mean, he's impressive. Again, we run that triple option. Sometimes he's leading the way for the running back. Sometimes he's just there, and then setting the edge for Lamar. Okay, but enough of that. So we discussed, I think, how your defense and our offense. Let's flip it. Let's talk our defense against your offense. Now I'm gonna ask you the same question on the other side. What do you think your offense is gonna do to our defense to be successful?
Play our game. The Texans have looked the best this year. Atlanta, the Chargers, the Chiefs. We've looked the best this year when we are getting the ball out quickly. We can get caught up, especially for Deshaun. He's a guy that just wants to continue to make those big plays.
Mm-hmm.
But as we've seen before, a lot of those, opportunities for big plays, a lot of times they come for sacks, But as of late, we've been able to get the ball out quicker using players like Fuller, who right now is a game-time decision. Hopefully we have him on the field. Even a big 51-yarder to Kiki QT against Atlanta. That was a quick pass. Getting DeAndre Hopkins involved earlier in games, a lot of those are just quick intermediate passes. So getting the ball out quicker and often is one thing that the offense has to continue to do. Tim Kelly and Bill O'Brien has done a phenomenal job with that. And I also will say this. If not my favorite play, top 2 of my favorite plays this year, the Texans are utilizing our tight ends more, just like you guys, with the RPO action. Deshaun can pull it, he can take off with it, or he can dump it out. And more times than not, Atkins or Fails is going to be open, because ask yourself, who are you going to fear more? Deshaun Watson with the ball in his hands and his leg, or a tight end?
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to fear Deshaun Watson. So just getting the ball out and staying creative with those offensive plays. Play smart, play your game.
So this offense is definitely something. It's something I've been talking about, that I think the Texans are actually going to be the toughest remaining test for the Ravens because of Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
Just the plays he's capable of making, man. Like, you swear you have him on the ground and then he just boop, like he's halfway on the ground and he throws the ball like 20 yards, man. It's insane to see. Of
touchdowns with one eye.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. That's another thing. So Deshaun Watson, he's going to get his, just like I believe Lamar will get his. Also, another player that I think will get his is DeAndre Hopkins, even though I believe our secondary is the strength of our defense, no doubt. But DeAndre Hopkins, I think, I've been saying it since I've been doing these podcasts, I think he's the best receiver in the league, even though he may not have the numbers this year, but he's, in my opinion, he's still the best. I think he's going to get his numbers, whether we put Jimmy on him, if we put Humphrey, Peters. We have good corners, we have good safeties and all that, but I still think that the receivers should be able to, get some pretty big gains, especially with Deshaun Watson's playmaking.
I will say this. The cornerback, the secondary position was pretty good with Humphrey. Humphrey has, a career year for him. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. I still think Stephen Gilmore has it. But Humphrey has played phenomenal. Jimmy Smith in his last couple games has only allowed, I believe, 34 yards, 4 completions. But the addition of Marcus Peters takes that secondary. Let me ask you guys something. Does it seem like every time Marcus Peters goes to a new situation, he thrives?
Yeah, that's true.
He first was drafted after falling because of the issues he had, and he didn't really even fall.
Washington,
yeah. Also should have drafted him. The issues he had in college. His first interception was a pick six. He goes to L.A. and he thrives there after the Chiefs trade him. And then now in the games he's been in the Ravens, he's already had 2 pick sixes.
Yep.
So what that does is he takes that defense to a good defense to a defense where, okay, well, they have a playmaker over here. It doesn't matter. He's going to thrive. He
Yep.
has amazing ball skills. And I think bringing Peters on may be a move to put the Baltimore Ravens as a team over the top.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So one of the things I think for your offense is the one time that I saw this team since we got everybody healthy, when we struggled the most was when the Patriots went no huddle.
Oh yeah.
We started getting carved. That hurt us. We couldn't sub. We couldn't get into the right packages. Boom, boom. Because look, we are on our fourth mic guy. I think LJ4 was the mic guy last week. So we are on our fourth mic guy. So obviously that hurt us. So I'm expecting the Texans to attack us with no huddle. Now, I think this is, I don't want to say it's as simple as this, but you guys have two good running backs. Hyde and Johnson, both of them play for the Clowns. Hyde was there for a cup of tea.
I love it.
Hyde was there for a cup of tea. Johnson was there for a while until he got mad and asked for a trade. Now, Hyde is great between tackles. Hyde is a powerful running, fast guy, and he's your main runner. I think we need to contain it. Now, we lost our nose tackle for this game. He's not going to play. They're saying he's week to week. He ain't going to play for a couple of weeks. So we signed two guys that are going to be two guys there to hopefully plug that middle. But they're two guys new to this defense. And then you have Duke Johnson, which for me, my biggest worry is the dude is super shifty on the open field, and he knows how to get open. So that's concerning for me. So your running back side, although I think we're third on defense, on the running side defense, or whatever, we're top 5 on the run defense. I'm concerned not having our nose tackle with that. If your running attack goes crazy, it's going to be a long day for the Ravens, because then I can expect you guys to have RPO running well the ball, and then also no huddle us and passing the ball. And I think that's when we are not. I think that's problematic for us. On the flip side, like you said, I think we have the corners to sustain these receivers, not to shut them down. I will never claim that we can shut Hopkins down. Yeah, me and Newell have said that Hopkins is the best wide receiver. Not this week. We have been saying it for a while. I believe so. His hands. I thought Hopkins was good, and then I saw you guys, and no disrespect, put him with a bunch of trash quarterbacks before Watson was there. And dude was still making plays. I'm like, did they just pull this guy out of the stands? Right? And then Hopkins was still making plays. Didn't matter. The quarterback was like, it was almost like when Megatron was there in Detroit, all they did was just throw it near him, and the guy came down with the ball. And that's what Hopkins does. So I'm expecting Hopkins to get his. Well, the guy that I'm expecting, I don't know if Newell agrees with me, is I'm expecting Jimmy Smith. If Fuller plays, I'm expecting Jimmy Smith will be with him, because Jimmy Smith is also strong, is physical. I think he can contain him. I guess not shut him down.
Fuller has that speed, man.
But that's why I want Humphrey with Fuller, because Humphrey is faster than Smith. And Fuller can take a game like that. I seen Fuller, again, he's not better than D-Hop, but I seen Fuller take a game like that because of his speed. Now he's all explosive plays.
His X factor ability
is crazy.
If he's on the field, is always through the roof.
Exactly.
Yep. And plus, you now have Kenny Stills that you have to worry about. He's been very good for the Texans. So
very good.
Yep.
And like I said, hopefully we'll see QQQT. Now we don't. I wouldn't be upset about it, because Kenny Stills and Kiki's absence has been amazing. Even in Will Fuller's absence, he's been a perfect number 2, number 3 guy. 9 games through the season for the Texans. Like I said earlier, I believe our tight ends will definitely make a statement in this game. Fells is the guy for our team and our offense. He's not going to get you a lot of yards.
He's your red zone target, right?
He's going to get you the touchdowns.
Yeah, I can see that.
There was one game when he had 20 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns, right? And so maybe not the best of strategies for your fantasy team, but at the end of the day, we play the game on the field.
Exactly.
But he's been phenomenal for this Texans team. I will say this: as good as the Texans are at running the ball, just like the Ravens, we're even better at stopping the run. Right now, we're only allowing 84 yards rushing per game, and the Ravens sit at 8 with 91. This team is so much a mirror of oneself that we're making it to be this quarterback versus quarterback, but I mean, I think that's what it's going to be. Which quarterback is going to outperform the other?
I agree. So I think what I am concerned about, and I'll let you go, Sonny, right now.
No, go ahead, man.
Because you mentioned earlier, Sonny, that Michael Pierce was out last week against the Bengals, and we saw that Joe Mixon had a huge game on the ground, and we've allowed huge games when one of our guys isn't there. We remember against the Browns, Nick Chubb, he ran wild because Brandon Williams was gone. So we need both of the guys out there. And if Michael Pierce isn't out there, that's definitely concerning to me. I know we now have Pecco, who is a big dude, and Justin Ellis. Both of them are just big maulers, dude, that they're going to be stuffing up the middle. I'm hoping, that they can substitute enough for Michael Pierce. But if not, it's going to be tough for us for sure, because then you set up the play action and we know how that goes. So.
And what's a big component of this game that we haven't mentioned yet because we're getting so excited in the players? Coaching.
Exactly. True.
Coaching. 4-1 off buys for Bill O'Brien, around that number. Harbaugh has been one of the best consistent coaches in the league. And also considering at one point he was dealing with a old, aged, outdated quarterback who I'm actually glad he's out of Baltimore right now.
No Flacco slander here, man. No Flacco slander.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. It was just Flacco's time to get out of Baltimore. And I think it was his time to just retire, period. But Harbaugh has been one of the best consistent coaches in the league. Bill O'Brien this year had a lot of doubters. He should be fired, especially here in Houston. He should be fired. What is he doing? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Outside of Sunday night's game, we really hadn't missed Jadeveon Clowney that much. Like, look what he did. Look what he's done in Seattle, and look what we've been able to do. Whitney Merciless has done more than Jadeveon Clowney for the most part, actually, since the season started.
Mm-hmm.
Merciless has a touchdown, sack, strip fumbles, interceptions. Mm-hmm. So we really haven't missed Clowney outside of, damn, we just saw him play like that.
Right.
The trade for Garyon Conley has worked out. Everything that he's done thus far, especially looking at that Duke Johnson trade, bringing in Carlos Hyde at the last minute for a guy we were about to cut in Martinez Rankin. Get well soon to him. But on top of that, he has coached some phenomenal games this year. And I think that has been his knock the entire time. Guys, we know. You guys had Ryan Mallett one year. The Texans also had Ryan Mallett, and look how bad he was. But he was also featured in a couple games. Brian Hoyer was featured in a couple games. Fitzpatrick. There was a season where 4 quarterbacks were under center.
Yeah. And Osweiler, too.
And then we had Osweiler for that off the season. Yeah. So he's been the best coach I've seen to work with what he has when it's not that much. But some of his coaching with the talent he's had in the last couple of seasons, that's where the knockers came in. And now this season, outside of the Saints game, which if it wasn't for Aaron Colvin, and I put a lot of blame on Romeo Crennel, that game of the defensive strategy, the Texans are sitting at 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
I think the coaching would definitely matter in this game. Bill O'Brien cannot trip over his feet. And then Harbaugh is just going to continue to be him. So
I agree. I think it's going to be a great game. The other thing that we haven't touched for us for our defense is the safety. We still have Earl Thomas out there roaming. I feel like Earl Thomas has played almost this year. It's different for him, and I feel like he started very not cold, but he wasn't himself. He was learning a new defense. This defense has him all over the field. He doesn't only play center field. He will go to the box. He will go center field. They move him all over the place. We lost our strong safety, but like Nubo always say, our strong safety, our starter wasn't playing better than the backup. Actually, the backup was playing better. Oh, and something I wanted to say about Clowney, because you brought Clowney. I will say it's also a factor because we play the Seahawks, and Clowney was disruptive. The problem is nobody else was, so we were able to double, have a running back in that side, a lot of help with Clowney because nobody else was doing anything. There being in the Texans with J.J. Watt, obviously that helps. You cannot have 2 guys and contain them both at the same time. Anyway, that was just a parenthesis that I wanted to bring on that one. But yeah, so Earl Thomas, I think, might get his this week. Talking about your tight ends fails. I like him. I like him on the red zone. I think that's where he thrives the most. Maybe on a short yardage, moving the change kind of deal. But I don't know if Nubo agrees with me. In those packages, now you can relax a little bit with Fuller. Not that Fuller's not a red zone threat, but now you don't have to worry about the speed as much. I think if we're in a red zone against the Texans in a red zone situation, the biggest thing is that's when I think you move Jimmy Smith. He's more the tougher corner than Humphries. I'm not saying Humphrey is weak. Jimmy Smith is a little bit more bulked up. You put him on Fells, and then you go and say Humphrey. Now you take D Hop, right? And then you can, if Fuller's also in that field at the same time, you can put Peters on him, right? And then we still have Brandon Carr. Again, Brandon Carr super savvy. He can't cover as much on the open field now. He's not as young, but on a red zone, which the field shrinks, he's gonna do good. He's gonna be, he can do his thing. So I think on the red zone, I'm not as worried as on our defensive red zone unless you guys are running on us. I'm more scared on the splash play, big play. If Fuller plays, if D Hop plays, he's still capable of doing those big plays. Those are my areas of concern. And Duke Johnson out of the backfield. I can't say this enough. Duke Johnson out of the backfield concerns me a lot.
I was saying it. He might as well be a receiver as well. The way he plays, man, he's great. Oh, looks like we lost him. Oh, there he is.
Okay, so I have a question here for you, John.
Our guy Tyrone.
Can you see it?
I'm sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you see the question on the screen? Or you want me to read it?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
We can hear you.
Technical difficulties.
Guys, you know the budget here is short. They don't have ESPNs, all infrastructure.
We're not professional at all.
All right, what about now?
We can hear you.
No, that's good. Yeah.
I can't hear you guys. I don't know what's going on.
Huh.
Uh-oh. Try getting out and logging back in. I think he's trying to so while he does this, let's answer this question here, Noob. If you want to answer that question while my boy here works his thing.
All right. So I do think Ellis and Pecco could have some success for the D-line, especially if they get a lot of playing time. Like we mentioned earlier, Pierce most likely is not going to play. I don't think he's even practiced at all this week from what I've seen. So that's going to be a huge loss for sure. So I'm hoping Ellis and Pecco can step in. I'm going to trust EDC because what we've seen when we brought in Josh Bynes, like you bring up, and LJ Fort, I wasn't expecting anything at all. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then they've turned out to be awesome. They've really turned around the defense. So if these guys, this is good depth, I think, for losing Pierce and having to replace him with both Justin Ellis and Pecco, both huge dudes. They're like 350 pounds. So I think they should be able to come in and do exactly what we need them to do. And, we're going to need them. We're definitely going to need them against this rushing attack. No doubt.
Yeah, I would say I remember when Bynes and LJ came in and they started. That week people were asking similar question. I was like, yeah, they're not going to start. There's no way they're going to start.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Boom, they both started.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised. So, hey, like I said in the stream, we need them to just plug the holes. Different from the middle linebacker. If they get pushed off the line, that's problematic. They need to hold their own and just make sure they can plug that hole.
Yep. Just take up space. That's really the point of a nose tackle, right? Just take up space. There he is.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay,
cool.
perfect. Let me look for that question that somebody here had.
It was our guy Tyrone. You know how he is.
There you
There
go.
it is.
The chat is getting
Can you see it?
interesting.
Can you see it on the screen?
Yes. Why are the Texans inconsistent for the last 2 years? Well, I say last year because we 11-5, which is the best record the Texans had in a while.
Mm-hmm.
The inconsistency just came in with, I think, Bill O'Brien not expecting to be as good as he was last year. A lot of times he was still playing as if Hoyer was still his quarterback, Osweiler was still his quarterback, so on and so forth. They have cleaned it up so much this year to the point where, I know the record shows 6-3, but that Saints game was had. And then the Carolina Panthers, even at Jaguars game that they pulled out, actually they got the dub. The Panthers game was a pretty bad showing. There have been some inconsistencies, but on the most part, the problem had been with Deshaun Watson taking too many sacks. But they've changed it. I think they've been much more consistent this year. Now, to go back 2 years ago, well, we just lost our quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
now after 7 games, and we just lost him. So we have to go back to that methodical, vanilla, boring offense. That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah. So the reality is, guys, there's very few teams that can do what the Saints did. Lose a Hall of Fame quarterback or star quarterback. In the case of Lamar or Watson, they're not Hall of Fame. They're very early in their career, but they're superstar quarterbacks. It's not many teams that can lose their quarterback and still be decent, right? Now, this is a good question, and as we're wrapping down the stream, I want to put this question, and after this question, we're gonna do some score prediction. So, noobs, and for you two, Johns, question is, what matchup are you looking for now? What I'm looking more is not Watson versus Lamar. Everybody's looking for Watson versus Lamar. Are you looking for that running back against the Ravens D-line or vice versa, or the linebacking core against Lamar, or a particular receiver against particular corner? I'll start with you, Nubo, and then I'll go with my guy.
Yeah, so, you said it, man. Deshaun versus Lamar is definitely what everybody's going to be looking for. That's why they're going to be watching this game. Definitely should have been flexed, in my opinion. Sucks that it's not, but we're forced to watch the Rams and the Bears.
Who wants to watch that?
Trash Bisky? No one.
Oof Bisky and Jared Goof. So, but it is what it is. That's definitely the matchup I'm looking forward to, because I think that's whoever has the better game, that's going to be the winner. Lamar versus the Texans defense, I'm curious to see how they plan to stop him, or not stop him, but at least slow him down. And same thing for our defense. How are we going to, because we have similar issues. We don't have any pass rush. So that's going to be a problem. And especially since they're getting Tunsil back, I believe, and Titus Howard on the other side. So that's going to be even more problematic for our pass rush, for sure. So, we just got to see how both the defenses play these young quarterbacks, I think.
Okay, so what is your matchup?
Normally, I always go with the big guys up front. Playing that position, we get overlooked a lot. A good offensive line can determine a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Bad offensive line can ruin a lot. That's what I would normally go with. But I don't think the Ravens pass rush is going to be that substantial of a, difference maker. And vice versa, I think our D-line has a huge responsibility, but I don't think that is going to be that substantial of a responsibility. It goes down to the quarterbacks. There's no way else to put it. These guys matched up in college. Louisville versus Clemson. Do you guys remember that game?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a long way in college, but they're going to make this game.
Yep.
They're definitely going to make this game. But now, if I would have to give you a number 2 big matchup to look at, it's going to be on both sides, tight ends versus linebacker safety core.
Yep.
I mean, linebacker and the safety secondary. That's going to be huge. In wins this year, the Ravens tight ends have 783 yards and 6 touchdowns combined. Fails is 1 touchdown away from 9 touchdowns for the season, which will break the record for the Houston Texans tight end, along with everything Atkins has been doing. That matchup, tight ends versus the linebackers and safeties, is going to be huge, in my opinion, heading to Sunday's game.
Okay, so my matchup for me is Lamar against your linebacking core. See if they can stay disciplined, they can hold ground. Also, the other matchup I want to see is our corners against your receivers. Those are my biggest matchups to watch. I think our pass rush is not gonna be great again. I think Watson will get his. I think we can contain him on the running side because Watson has been more careful on running after the injury. But containing in the passing game, that's the big challenge, and that's the matchup I want to see. Watson and that receivers against that secondary, ET, Clark, and the corners. So I want to see that matchup. And last but not least, our linebacker against your running backs. Can we contain that run? Can we force you? Look, I think the recipe for the Ravens to win, not only time of possession, not only this offense to move the ball, is to try to hold the Texans to 65-ish yards or less on the rushing side. If you can make them one-dimensional, if you can do that, which is not easy, but if you can do that, Ravens come up on top. It will be the same for the Texans. If they can contain us on the running side, they will come on top. Who can contain the other team rushing attack the most probably dictates who wins this game. Now, as we're wrapping up, like I said, I'll start with you again, Lou. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm definitely glad you mentioned time of possession. For these two teams, that is definitely a key. I totally forgot that.
Yep. That's what both our offenses. Yeah.
It's going to be important.
Yep. That's what both our offenses are. That's what we're known for, right? Just keeping the time of possession for sure, no doubt.
So last thing is score prediction and who wins. Noob, who do you have?
Okay, so I didn't feel super confident about this game, but now I'm starting to feel a little more confident. I do think the Ravens should be able to pull it out. I think it's going to be very close. I think it should be an absolute barn burner. Both of these young quarterbacks are going to have their games. I think score prediction, it's tough, man. 33-30, I think, kind of a higher scoring game.
Okay.
I have 34-30.
Okay.
I have 34-30. I think
Houston? You have Houston?
I have Houston.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain why really quick. Jackson has a win over the MVP Russell Wilson.
Yep.
He beat the undefeated at the time Patriots. He has 2 games with a perfect pass rating this year. Players say awards don't matter, stuff like that. But trust me, this MVP race is heating up. Deshaun was robbed of an MVP performance from that Saints game. He's had a couple like the Falcons, like the Chiefs, but this game is a statement game. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm picking the Texans to win. But I will say this, that 34-30, the score can be the same. The outcome may be different because both teams are that phenomenal this season.
I have it similar, to be honest, 33-27 Ravens. And I would say if this game was in Houston, I actually would have flipped it. Because coming out of a bye, if they were at home, I think everything would have been set for them to win the game. Since it's on the road, I have the Ravens winning this game 32-27. Now, before we go, John, tell them where they can find you and how they can find you in all the social media and your podcast.
Most definitely. So, again, you guys can follow me on Twitter at @SomeSportsGuy. And I see you guys in the chats. The comment section. Follow me on Twitter. Also, you can follow me on YouTube where I do various interviews, a lot of comedy on YouTube at Uncle Tone. Just a regular Uncle Tone, Tone. The Locked On Texans podcast can be found on every major platform: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. You can also follow us on Twitter at Locked On Texans, and you can argue that sports.com. That is a website that my co-host and I, who unfortunately not able to be here today, we created for the city of Houston and surrounding areas and more throughout the entire country. We've worked with a lot of different people. I love it. I love working with people like you guys. Thank you for having me on, because sports is universal and we all love it. And who hasn't got hyped to Ray
I
Lewis
know, man.
Absolutely.
You know it.
Who
Look,
hasn't got hyped to Ray Lewis speak before?
I know, bro. You know that's right.
Man, I love sports. It's bringing us guys together. We can just talk and have fun. So, and in the comment section, chats. Let me get in the chat. In the chats. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Follow me. Follow me.
Put your stuff in the chat section. I linked your podcast page in the description below, guys. I didn't link your YouTube of Uncle Tom, but if you can, put it in the comment section, and that way people know. Okay.
Gotcha. I'm trying to do that now.
Okay. So, guys, before we go, remember Sunday, 10:30 to noon, I'm gonna be at Bluegrass in Baltimore, streaming live. Come join me. Come have a drink. If you want to be inside the streaming booth, come in. I will let you say what you think that game is gonna be in. So swing by. It's Bluegrass in Baltimore. It's like a mile. I mean, you can walk from there to the stadium. It's not a bad walk. It's near the Inner Harbor. If you follow me and the social medias, I'm gonna be putting their address soon. So please come join me. I would love to see some of you guys. I know you're going to the Texans game, and me and Nu are predicting a win, not a big win, a tight win. It's gonna be a game that is gonna make you lose some years out of your system. I know Nuvo is also predicting it tight. Anything before we wrap up, Noobs?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys aren't subscribed to me, which I'm sure some of you are already, NF Podcasts Live with Joe Nubo, NF Podcasts on Twitter, Joe Nubo on Instagram. But yeah, I do expect it to be a very close game. I think it's going to be probably the game of the week. I mean, two great young quarterbacks for sure. And I'm excited, no doubt.
Hell yeah, guys. So thank you for joining, guys, for sure. I will see you guys on Sunday in the stream. I'm going to try to take calls during that stream. We'll see. I know it failed last time that I was on the bar. See you next time, guys. Peace out.
Later.